They say curiosity killed the cat. It's a simple warning, a cautionary tale against poking where you shouldn't. But they never mention what happened to the person, the human being, who couldn't stop asking questions, who saw a crack in the world and felt an irresistible pull to widen it. My name is Eli. I live in a quiet part of Texas, not too far from what we call the Pine Curtain, a dense, sprawling forest that feels like a wall between worlds. Big skies, long roads that vanish into the horizon, nothing but forest and field for miles. My life was ordinary, predictable. I'd never been into anything weird. No late-night ghost hunting expeditions, no Ouija boards in darkened rooms. I was just Eli. But then, one bored Thursday night, with the rain tapping a monotonous rhythm against my window, I downloaded the Randonautica app. You know the one, don't you? It's been all over the internet, the kind of thing you hear about and think, that's harmless fun. It uses your location to give you random coordinates. It tells you to set an intention. Love, money, adventure, or something darker, something unknown. I was half laughing when I picked truth as my intention, a vague, innocent concept. I didn't expect anything, just wanted a reason to get out of the house, to break the monotony of another quiet evening. I should never have opened that app. I know that now. But back then it felt like a harmless game. It dropped a pin 15 minutes from my house, a location I'd never heard of, deep in the woods, past an old, overgrown trail I didn't even know existed. This path wasn't on Google Maps. There was no satellite image showing its clear delineation, just a whispered rumor of a cut-through, perhaps. But I've always had this thing. When I start something, I finish it, no matter how stupid it is. So I drove out there, parked my car where the asphalt crumbled into dirt, and started walking. The trailhead had no signage, no marked entrance, just a subtle break in the dense canopy of trees, a path barely wider than my shoulders. Something about it felt wrong. Immediately, the air grew heavy. The silence was too complete. No rustle of leaves despite a faint breeze, no birdsong, not even the chirping of crickets you'd expect at dusk. Just the rhythmic crunch of my boots on dead leaves and twigs, and the unnervingly loud sound of my own breathing. The app said I was close, 100 yards, then 70, then 30, the coordinates leading me deeper into the oppressive quiet. I followed the GPS right up to a tree. That's it. Just a tree. Oak, I think. Massive, ancient, gnarled, its branches twisted like arthritic fingers against the deepening twilight sky. It looked like it had seen things. At its base, hidden partially by overgrown roots, was a small stone circle. Looked crude, handmade. And in the very center, almost completely concealed by moss and fallen leaves, a mason jar. I bent down. My heart was thumping a strangely fast rhythm against my ribs. The jar was sealed with wax, thick and old, like a relic. Inside was a neatly folded piece of paper. I know I should have walked away. Every instinct screamed at me to turn around, to pretend I'd never seen it. But I didn't. That relentless curiosity, that need to finish what I started, overrode everything. I broke the wax, my fingers clumsy. The lid unscrewed with a faint hiss of released, stale air. I pulled the paper out. My eyes scanned the words. It said, "Did you think you were the first?" The handwriting was neat, elegant, almost like calligraphy, like something from another era. On the back, more writing, coordinates, not printed, not generated by an algorithm, written, as if it had been waiting for someone to find it, waiting for me. The moment I touched the paper, my phone buzzed. A sharp, unexpected vibration in my hand. Randonautica refreshed. New point generated. I didn't input anything. I hadn't set a new intention. This wasn't how it worked. This time, it wasn't in the woods. It was across town, at a burned-out house that had been condemned for years. A local legend, really. Kids dared each other to visit it. I should have stopped. I knew I should have. The sun was setting now, casting long, distorted shadows across the pavement, but the air was thick, like syrup. It pressed in on me, heavy and insistent. My mouth was dry, my throat tight. I couldn't explain it, but I had to go. An invisible string pulled me. I drove. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in bruised purples and ominous reds. The house was worse than I remembered. A skeletal ruin against the darkening sky, boarded windows like hollow eyes, char marks across the frame scorched into the wood like angry scars. And on the sidewalk, cutting through the grime, fresh footprints, leading directly inside. A size 10, my size. I followed them. My heart was a frantic drum in my chest. The boards were pried off, just enough to slip through the gaping maw of what used to be the front door. The inside smelled like smoke and mildew, a suffocating combination of decay and tragedy. The floor creaked beneath my steps, each sound amplified in the oppressive quiet. My phone buzzed again in my hand, one final, desperate vibration. You're almost there. Then, the screen went black. Utterly, completely black. No matter what I did, no amount of button mashing or frantic tapping, I couldn't get it to turn back on. It was a dead weight in my hand. I should have left. The rational part of my brain screamed at me to turn and run. But I saw something in the next room. A faint glow. A soft, unnatural luminescence, pulsing gently from the darkness. I stepped through. The floor felt like ash under my boots. On the floor, in the center of what used to be the living room, was another mason jar, identical to the first, and inside, another note. There are always more questions. And below that, in the exact same neat handwriting, my name, Eli. I didn't write it. I hadn't told anyone I was going, not a soul. The jar was sealed, and yet there it was, in the same neat handwriting, addressed to me. My stomach dropped, a cold, heavy weight. I turned to leave, desperate to escape, and that's when I saw it, my reflection, but not in a mirror, in the soot-covered window pane, made dark by the night outside. Except it wasn't copying me. It was standing still, motionless. And then, it smiled, a slow, impossibly wide grin. It wasn't me. It was something else, wearing my face, mimicking my body, but holding an expression no human face should be capable of. It was still, and I was moving. The disparity was a punch to the gut. I ran, stumbled over unseen debris, tripped down the stairs, falling hard onto the cracked pavement outside, not caring about the pain. I didn't stop running until I reached my car. My lungs burned, my legs screamed. When I finally got the engine started, the app was open again on my phone. Its screen was no longer black. New point, no prompt, no intention, just coordinates, a destination. I threw the phone on the passenger seat, not wanting to touch it, and drove home. My mind was a whirlwind of terror and disbelief. Tried to sleep. Couldn't. Kept hearing my name whispered in the corners of the room, a sibilant hiss in the echoing silence. Seeing shadows move behind curtains that weren't there, just vague distortions in my peripheral vision. The next day, I deleted the app, or I tried to. I dragged its icon to the trash, confirmed the uninstall. But a moment later, it was back. Sitting there, mocking me, right where I'd left it. I factory reset the phone. A complete wipe. It took hours. And when it booted back up, clean and empty, the app came back. It was always there. It couldn't be removed. Now, every night, at exactly 3:33 a.m., my phone lights up. A sudden, jarring glow in the darkness of my room. Always that time. Always that chilling pattern. New point generated. always closer. I stopped following them, for a while, a week, maybe 2. I tried to ignore it, but they kept getting closer. Points started appearing in my own neighborhood, then my street, then my backyard. The app was no longer a game. It was a predator closing in. One night, around 3:33, I looked out the window. The rain was coming down harder now, blurring the edges of the world. And I saw something standing near the fence line. Tall, thin, impossibly so. It had no discernible face, just a smooth, featureless surface where the head should have been. A dark, reflective screen. My phone buzzed in my hand. Its screen flashed to life. Say hello. I dropped it. The phone clattered to the floor, its light winking out. I don't remember falling asleep. It felt more like I simply ceased to exist for a while. But in the morning, there was a note on my kitchen table. Not in a jar this time, just the paper, neatly folded. Almost there. And below that, a drawing, a sketch, of me, sleeping. My face rendered with eerie accuracy in my own bed. My heart froze in my chest. It had been inside, while I slept. Now, I keep the lights on. All of them, all night. I've nailed the window shut, every pane secured with crude, desperate boards, as if wood could stop what was coming. I've barricaded the doors with furniture, but somehow, the coordinates keep appearing. On receipts tucked into my grocery bag. In text messages from unknown numbers, the digits blinking malevolently. One even showed up in the condensation on my bathroom mirror, written in perfectly formed droplets. There's nowhere to hide. I haven't left the house in 3 days. I haven't slept properly. Every shadow is a movement. Every creak of the old house is a footstep. Last night, there was a knock at the door. Not loud, just deliberate. A single, resonant thud against the wood. It wasn't a question. It was an announcement. I didn't answer it. I pressed myself against the farthest wall, holding my breath until the sound of the rain was all I could hear. But this morning, the first thing I saw when I crept out of my bedroom, my front door was wide open. The barricade pushed aside as if it were made of paper, and on the welcome mat, another jar, unsealed. Inside, final location confirmed. And a photo of me, standing in my hallway, looking directly at the camera. But the photo was taken from inside the house. The app is silent now. No more updates, no more coordinates, just a single screen glowing faintly from my phone wherever it lies in the house. It's time to come home. I think I'm already there, because the hallway is longer than it was yesterday. It stretches on, endlessly, into a space that shouldn't exist within these walls. And I swear I can see a light at the end of it. A dim, flickering glow, like the screen of a phone, or a face.
If you're hearing this, don't download the app. Don't search for truth. Because Randonautica doesn't show you what you want to see. It shows you what's already looking for you.